Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Dan, and of course, you're tuning into Collector's Digest. Alright, guys, so we have the Carbonized Graphite Mandalorian figure from Black Series. Okay, so I remember seeing a lady opening a case for a few collectors at Target one day. I was going in there looking for NECA figures, specifically turtles, way after they were released. A bunch of people were picking these up. I wasn't paying attention because at the time I had collected Black Series in the past, and they just weren't for me. The articulation scheme I didn't like, no double jointed elbows. A lot of them, all of them have these same exact hands, like all of them. And there's just a lot of things going on with them that I don't like. If I want Star Wars, I try to think like I want, go Hot Toys route. Or even like SH Figuarts, they make a lot of good Star Wars figures. I assume. I don't have any, so I can't contest to that. But I kept hearing the same thing about this figure, is that it really feels like an import. It doesn't feel like a Black Series. The articulation scheme is improved tremendously. And I'll say it has improved tremendously. I don't know, but it is better. And it's noticeable. And therefore the experience that I have is definitely better with this figure. So the Carbonized Graphite version, I'm not really sure what they were going for with this whole thing. My take on it, looking at pictures of the first edition and regular version, is that this is more of a weathered look, because his sleeves, pant legs, those should be like a dark navy, and they're more like a copper metallic bronze. And then his vest, where the chest plate sits on top, should be like a beige, along with the undershirt there, and that is like a light bronze metallic finish, right? So I'm not sure. I would think that this is supposed to be more of the weathered look, especially seeing everything that they did on the helmet compared to looking at pictures of the regular version. Again, I don't have it in hand. I ordered one from Amazon. It shipped a week and a half ago, and it says that the delivery date is June 1st. So I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. Eventually I found this on eBay. It was going for below half of what it was going for when it initially released, and the flippers got a hold of it and put them up on eBay. So at that point I was like, you know what, let me get it. I want it. Initially I said if the TV show jumped off, I was going to get the hot toy. With doing action figure photography, I definitely wanted a 6-inch version. So there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons to this, and we'll get into them. But initially, the whole Carbonized Graphite thing, my take on it is that it's supposed to be a more weathered, screen accurate look, I would think. I could be completely wrong. Okay, guys, getting into the pros versus cons. While they made a lot of improvements with this figure, there still is cons, unfortunately. It does have double jointed knees, so that's good. That's very good for action poses. No double jointed elbows. Here's the thing, man, it's 2020, and this is the same company that makes Marvel Legends. At some point, I need Marvel Legends and Black Series to get together. I understand it's probably two departments, it's two different fronts, two different companies, essentially. But at its core, at its foundation, it's Hasbro, right? So I need them to get that technology into these figures. I don't know one Black Series that has double jointed elbows. Now, again, I don't collect a shit ton of them, so is there one out there? Yeah, probably, actually, but I don't know. Figures like Rey, Kylo Ren, Vader, these were all, Lando, all those figures had single jointed elbows, and that was a major thing. Like, it's that much harder to work with. It doesn't make things easier when you're going to pose, and it's a hindrance, in my opinion. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. So that's one con with this guy. I would say the second biggest one is this rifle. Now, this rifle is beautiful. They did a fantastic job with this rifle right here. And it is a dope-ass rifle from what we understand from the TV show. You can fucking obliterate people and make them disappear, and you can zap people. So that is dope. I don't know what he's packing in this thing, but I know that it's fucking dope. The problem is this peg right here. You see how long that peg is? And you can see it's all chewed up, right? That's not from excessively trying to attach it or anything that I did. It's the way that they notched out the hole in his back. Now, you see the strap going across his chest. In the actual show, he has another strap, kind of like a you would see on a backpack or something, coming off of here, and it clips on to the rifle, and that sits on his back. Well, obviously with a 6-inch figure, they can't do that, right? I mean, they could, but this is a $20 figure. Let's be serious, they're not going to do that. So what they did is, this goes across his back, and they notched out a little piece in the strap, and then in his back there. Let me show you. When you move his diaphragm, it doesn't line up anymore. You have to get this in the perfect spot for it to line up, and then you can go ahead and attempt to attach it. Now see, I'm always getting it off track there. So get it in there, and it only goes in that far. So since it only goes in that far, anytime you're messing with this, or say you knock this damn thing messing with the cape, and it's gonna come out. Now the reason they didn't drill that farther in so the whole peg could actually fit is actually because they couldn't. See, this molding is pretty thin here, and it has to be that thin because right behind it is the inner workings for the elbows and the arms. So in order for these arms to move, you know, they couldn't notch that farther, because then this would be hindering that, if you get my point. But what they could have done is they could have notched this out a lot shorter, a lot smaller, to where it had a better fit and it would be a little more snug and fit in there properly. Because right now, I mean, you're putting it in there and it's off rip, it's off balance, and then you get a crazy warp to it because you're sitting there trying to push it in, and it just really sucks. So that's one issue with it. Now, I have seen videos on YouTube, actually one, where a gentleman actually magnetizes this whole deal. So what he does is he completely removes this peg, puts a magnet in the molding, drills out a little hole, puts a magnet in there, and then does a slight hole right here where this notch is. And once you do that, you can see the inner workings of the arms inside the mold, and then just puts a magnet in there and glues it carefully so it doesn't hinder the inner workings. But I'm definitely going to be doing that. I'm going to do my best to maybe put the magnet somewhere else so I can drill a little bit farther in to get the magnet to sit flush. I will definitely do a video when I customize this figure, because there's a few things that I'm going to do. So I'll do a video on that, but that's something I'm going to do because honestly, I just don't like having to line this strap up, stick it in, right? And then it only goes in that far. Then I got to come back after I do that and readjust his diaphragm joint so that he looks right, because you have to bend him way back just for the hole to line up. And then if you move him like this, that doesn't look right. No, you got to move the diaphragm or ab articulation for it to look good. And for me, that's just no bueno. Other than those two things, I think the figure is really solid. I mean, I think that even the feet, yeah, the feet have great pivot. Look at that. You have double jointed knees. I can show you that. He doesn't quite kick his own ass, but you know, it's enough. You do get a swivel at the thigh here. It is pretty stiff, so just be careful with that. And then unfortunately, you don't get any swivel at the calf. There's no boot swivel, so that does suck. That definitely does come in handy a lot when you're getting into low action poses, but it is what it is. I mean, having double jointed knees, I'm okay with that. And then the pivot on this guy, like I said, dude, it's amazing. And that's obviously that's on both feet here. So as long as I have that, I'm cool with not having the boot swivel. It'll be all right. As far as the hands here, so they did something that's kind of cool. So obviously he's going to be grabbing his rifle he's right-handed, right? So for the hinge and swivel, they put the hinge on the side of his wrist for the right hand, and that's because he's going to have this arm back and then this up like that to grip the butt of the rifle, right? And then for this side, they put the hinge at the regular spot at the bottom of the wrist so that he can grab it like so. So that was smart of them to do. That makes sense. I like that. As I mentioned, these shoulder pads, they do go up and over his shoulders so that you can get his arms the shoulders up quite a bit, so you don't get them quite up there, but you know, far enough, man. I think that looks decent. I mean, that's good enough for anything you're gonna really need it for. I would think, but that's just my opinion. And then also you can get his arms, and this is a huge thing for me, and this is gonna sound funny, but this comes from like being a Michael Myers fanatic and posing Michael Myers. You get his arms really close to his sides, to his torso, and you can see he's got that real gunslinger look right there, and that to me, that's a win. The cape, I really like the cape that they put on here. I didn't think that I would, because I've had other Black Series and other definitely Marvel Legends that the hard plastic capes, and it's just a pain in the ass to work with. But this is more of a softer, more pliable material that they used. Now, is it screen accurate? No, not at all. His cape is supposed to bunch in under his chest armor there, and then it comes around next to the shoulder pads and then out his back. So really, if you pull this up, the cape should sit in here and then go out. Now with this figure, I don't know why they didn't attempt something like that, because here's the thing, it's not like they haven't made cloth figures. I mean, for the 40th anniversary, they did Leia cloth, they did Luke cloth, Darth Vader's cloak is cloth, they did the first Kylo Ren figure was all cloth, right? Except for the bottom skirt, that was all cloth. So I mean, Boba Fett in the Archive series, his cape is cloth, or his little whatever you want to, yeah, cape, it's cloth, or a cloth material. It's not hard plastic. So I'm not sure why they didn't do something like that. I believe that they could have nailed that. I wish they would have went out on a limb and just done it, because I think they could have. So if you look at like the Hot Toys photos, they got it right. But I mean, of course, that's Hot Toys. It's not Black Series. But I think Black Series really could have done it. Now, am I mad at that? Do I think that ruins the figure? No, I like this look. I think that this look is really dope. And I'm actually getting a custom cape for this guy, which I'll show that in my customization video once I do that, and that is coming soon, so stay tuned for that. But you know, that cape that I'm getting, it kind of has this similar gunslinger look, and I'm cool with that. I understand it. You know, I'm not going to drill out the front of this figure and try to tuck a cape in there, although I could. That's an idea. I don't know, we'll see. But I would have liked to see them do something like that. Is that a con? No, not necessarily. I understand why they did this. I would have liked to see them take the chance, because I think they could have pulled it off. But that's just my opinion. The cape overall, cape's fine. I love all the detailing on the front of this strap here. They really did great with the paint applications, as far as the silver right there, his ammunition, the little bullets, they look great. The detonators on the side of the belt. Now that should be more red, and I could paint that, I could touch that up, and that's the reason that that's so dark is probably because of the finish on this figure. You know, it's like that metallic-y finish, so that's probably why that looks like that. But I'll probably go through and touch those up with some paint, and yeah, overall, man, I really have no complaints. I mean, the padding on his thighs, knees, shins, everything looks great. Even the shoes. I mean, the shoes, it's more of a flat color, but it looks good. All his little canisters or ammunition, whatever you want to call it, right here looks great. These right here, his knee pads, they look phenomenal, man. I mean, phenomenal. I have no gripes with that whatsoever. I love that. The pouches, you know, they got that little touch of metallic paint right there on the belt. I mean, they knocked this thing out of the park for a Black Series figure. I'm telling you, it looks fucking phenomenal. Now, you don't just get his rifle, you do get a pistol as well, and that's in here. Let me get that out. I don't want to bend it or break anything, so bear with me. Alright, so this is the pistol that you get. It's a good paint application. I think that it looks fine. The butt of the handle is that metallic brown, you know, and then just nice silver for the rest of it. Silver, metallic silver, and it looks great, and it's definitely going to look good with him holding it. Alright, so once you get it in, it actually does look great. The only problem is it is stiff getting it in there, so I would just heat the hand up with some warm water. You can use a blow dryer if you're worried that the water is going to harm your figure. I've never had warm water or hot water harm any of my figures. People swear though that it does, but I've never had that issue. So once you get it in there, again, it looks great. Just definitely heat it up, because you're gonna risk either breaking it or getting a bunch of paint rub, either from the butt of the pistol, the handle of the pistol onto your hand, or the hand going onto the handle of the pistol. Another thing to note is once you get this pistol in here, there's really no way for this to latch. As you can see, it has a nub on the end of that spike there, and it's supposed to latch in there, but it just won't, because there's no hole in the pistol. And I thought maybe it's supposed to line up with that hole for the trigger, but there's just no way that it would. It is what it is. I mean, you can get it in there and you can make it look decent. It's not too bad. It's just something to note. You know, some people are very anal about stuff like that. Me personally, I think that it looks fine like that. Other people, their OCD is gonna fucking drive them nuts because that's not clicked in there all the way. But, you know, just thought I'd mention it. Now, as far as this rifle is concerned, they did a great paint application on here as well. The butt of the gun, that metallic shine looks amazing. The metallic shine looks great on the silver. There's a little bit of detail that they kind of missed within the scope right here, and then on the other side of the rifle itself. But if you're handy with a paintbrush and you have a still hand and a little bit of patience, you can finish it off yourself, and it'll really make this thing look fucking amazing. So I think that I'll definitely do that in my customization video, so just stay tuned for that. And from right here, it really does kind of look dope with him holding that rifle. It kind of resembles him from the TV show holding it kind of like this. But see, that's the issue I have with no double jointed elbows. You know how much easier it would make to pose him with this with just a single double jointed elbow? I just don't get it, man. So let's look from the side. I mean, even that, like from right here, you can get it to look good, but come around here, and do you see that? Do you see it now? Starting to crack. And I'm not, that's not pushed in excessively at all. That's just to the maximum it'll go. And I didn't push on it, anything, nothing. I don't know if that was there beforehand. It could have been, but yo, like, come on, man. I guess what do you expect with a $20 figure? However, like this, yeah, I can make it believable with some action figure photography, kind of like that. Despite some issues with the figure, this is a dope release. You know a figure is good when, despite cost, you just pick it up and you're instantly having fun with it. You're fascinated by it. You find yourself enjoying something and time is flying by. That's the beauty of these things. That's the beauty of the hobby. I've had that experience with figures that cost over $300, and then I've had that experience with this figure retails for under $20. This figure is dope, dude. And if you have an extra $50 that you can spare and get a dope figure that you're gonna like, you're gonna enjoy, especially if you love Star Wars, I'd say that this is worth it. It's not without flaws, but show me a figure that is. A lot of figures come close to that, but every figure has some sort of issue. And this one, they don't outweigh the positives at all, at least for me. And that's just my input, guys. So that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been showing support. It does mean the world to me. If there's anything you want to see from me, just let me know, and I will try to get that out to you as soon as possible. We have plenty more content coming, so keep it locked, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there. Until next time.